DFA fam, how do you do? It is week 14 already. Genuinely, it happens every year. Always flies by. It's wild. We are a week away from the fantasy playoffs, so we're trying to lock in those dubs. Hopefully, you already have a spot locked up, and this is just for fun. You're just here to join, just to see how everything goes. But if you need help, we're here to help you. Rolling solo here for a little bit, but we are going to be joined by Kev and Wallito. So let's go ahead and just dive into this thing. We got 808 leading us off tonight. Need help in the flex position. Deonta Foreman, Marquise Brown, Jerry Jeudy, Leonard Fournette, or Rashad White. This one is going to be Marquise Brown for me. With Fournette and Rashad White, both those guys are splitting touches. There were people who thought that Rashad White was going to start to take over here. That was not the case. I mean, both of them look good enough. I think both of them see touches going forward as well, especially for Leonard Fournette. And if Tampa Bay is going to make a playoff push, they need him to be healthy. Deonta Foreman is interesting just because of how bad the Seahawks defense is. But we're looking at a low total there, 44 points. I'm going to go with Marquise Brown. I know the Patriots secondary has been good all season, but they are going to be traveling out to Arizona. And then we also have, obviously, DeAndre Hopkins in the fold as well. So it should take some of the heat off of Hollywood. I'm going to go Marquise Brown. I wish it was Jerry Jeudy. I wish we could just lock in Jerry Jeudy, but that offense has been bad. Russ has been dog shit. Like, it just hasn't been good. I know Cortland Sutton unlikely to play, but I just can't mess with that defense. So give me Marquise Brown. Crip, need a flex and an RB this week. Smitty, Judy, Mike Will, Fournette or Mostert. I'm going Smitty there. Like I said, I wish it could be Judy. Like, I would love it to be Judy. Mike Williams scares me. I would love to plug him in, especially in this matchup. We're looking at a 52-point total going up against the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a pass funnel defense, which means that's how you beat them. Their run defense has been pretty good all season. They've been getting beat through the air, though. I would love to say Mike Williams, but it would just scare the crap out of me to plug him in and have something similar happen to what happened the last time he was on the field, where he caught one ball for 15 yards, and then he's missed the past couple of games. So until he makes it through a week unscathed, I'm just going to stay away from Mike Williams. With Smith, it's a little unnerving just because of the matchup with the Giants. Could be a game where Philly just gets ahead and kind of goes into cruise control. But if they're going to be ahead, they do have a 26.25 implied total on the week. They're obviously going to have to put up points, 7-point favorites. So, man, and that only opened up at 1.5. Golly, I wish I would have seen that. Hopefully you got in on that line at minus 1.5 for the Eagles. That's been bet all the way to -7. Minus 1.5 just does not make sense. I know it's a divisional game and all that. Anyway, we're not here to talk about betting. Unless you have betting questions, go ahead and drop those in too. Gravy rocking with us. Let's rip. I'm going to start using that more often. Another one here from 808. If you had to play one, who would you play? McKinnon, Tony Jones Jr., DJ Dallas, or J.K. Dobbins? Oh, Lord. Man. Not J.K. Dobbins, just because there's no way that he sees a significant amount of touches with Edwards back and healthy. Kenyon Drake has performed well on and off. So there's no way that he just jumps into, even if he plays this week, there's no way that he just jumps into like I said, a meaningful workload, especially with those other options there. So Dobbins is out for me. McKinnon is interesting. The Seattle, man, I'm just gonna just give me the best offense. Just give me McKinnon with the Denver defense playing well. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball as much. I mean, this total is only sitting at 44 points. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with Denver only having a 17-point implied total this week. So just give me the best offense. Give me the Chiefs and give me McKinnon. Walito, what's up, my
Cody,
man?
what's good? What's good, bro? How you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Ready to get this show going, you know? You started, but joining you.
Yeah, man, I honestly, what I thought happened was I thought Kev fell asleep because I know he's been putting in the hours trying to get the content out since I have not been doing that. I was like, I bet he fell
Uh,
asleep. I bet he has passed out. It's like, man, I gotta jump on. And then, of course, as soon as I hit go live, I get a message from him saying that he's joining, that you're joining as well. So
well,
gonna have a good old 3-man going here.
yeah. I don't know if Kevin's gonna join, but he sent me a message at 8 p.m. and he asked me if I wanted to join you guys tonight, and I said, why not? But um, I don't know. I thought Kev would be here, but I guess it's just you and me.
I think Kev should be coming. Kev should be coming.
I'm always ready for disagreements with Kev.
We wouldn't have it any other way. Our guy Kyle coming in with a defense question. Picked up the Raiders defensive stream. I also have the Pats strongly leaning the Raiders against a bad Rams offense, but wanted some thoughts.
Um, I mean, honestly, any defense that plays the Rams, to me, is always a good option. But uh, I I would need to just look at some waiver wire defenses that I think could be some great option this week. But
Yeah, unfortunately, I did not get that show out either.
yeah,
My wife was out of town.
who does New England who does New England play this week? Not sure.
Cardinals.
Okay, well, okay,
That is somehow the Monday night game, by the way, which is
all right.
just feels like a really weird matchup for a Monday night game.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
not a
mean, Kyle,
great
I'd be
it's not a great week for defenses this week. It just seems that every game on every game this week is could go like fucking crazy, nuclear, very high scoring games. But
yeah. I mean, if I had to pick out of these two, I'd probably go New England. Um,
probably
I know I get it with the matchup with the Raiders, but the thing is, like they're just not a good defense, right? Like
exactly,
obviously
yeah,
they're playing a
right,
bad offense, but like I don't see them getting like a bunch
exactly,
of turnovers. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
As bad as the Rams offense is, I don't think the Raiders defense is any better. So that's kind of the problem I see with this.
although I said the same thing last week about streaming the Browns against the Texans, and we see how that went. So yeah,
Well,
I'd
it just
probably I
feels
probably
that
just pick the
it,
good.
yeah, it just feels that every like the best options as far as defenses for this week or mostly high owned, and they're not defenses that are going to be on your waiver wires. Um,
Yeah,
like the Browns, for example, like they play the Bengals, but the Cowboys, Cowboys are a good example. They beat Houston, but I don't think the Cowboys defense is on any waiver wire this week.
mm-mm.
49ers, same thing. So it's just tough to find a good option on the waiver wire as far as defenses go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably, like I said, I'm going to roll with
Yeah, I'm going New England.
New England there
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just hope I don't get bit by that 2 weeks in a row. Jose, would you drop Sutton for Gallup, Slayton, Burks, Jameson Williams, Nico Collins, or Mike Williams?
I would consider dropping Sutton for Mike Williams because I don't think Mike Williams plays. I don't think Mike Williams plays this week, but if he doesn't play this week, he's back next week for the playoffs, in my opinion. And I'll take Mike Williams over Gordon Sutton any freaking week. But
yeah.
Treylon Burks is interesting, but I don't know if I would drop Sutton for Treylon Burks. But these other options, I'm not dropping Gordon Sutton for the other options. But I think I would do it for Mike Williams.
Yeah, I would do it for Mike Williams as well. I mean, you're looking at the most upside there if Williams can actually get back and stay on the field.
Yeah. I mean, when Mike Williams has been on the field, he's been producing. So he's been getting targets. So, and this Broncos offense is just bad. It's bad.
It's so bad.
Hey, Kev.
Papa Kev.
Now the show can really start, okay? The man's here.
Of course, Kev would say that.
Yeah, I mean, you could have. We should have taken bets while we were on how Kev was going to come in. The only surprising thing here is that Kev didn't have like intro music playing. That's really the only surprising thing.
Should have like pyro going off, like WWE and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, is that his music? Yeah. Oh my God!
With a D-Generation X theme song.
Yep.
Another drop question here from Jose. Would you drop CPAT for James Cook or any handcuff RB? If yes. Handcuff, which ones would be priority?
James Cook.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, James Cook. Yep.
Yeah. I do for Cook as well. Then finally here from Jose, I have Fields on bye this week. So who would you start between Cousins, Dak, or Geno? So let's start there, and then we'll get the flex question.
This is Cousins.
Cousins for me as well.
I'll go Dak.
So you'd be wrong.
Against Houston?
So, yeah, against Houston. Because if the Cowboys, if you let them, they will just run the ball. Like, they will not open up the offense. They will just run it right down their throat. And I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to get up and they're just going to run. Like, they're not going to have to throw. Where we've seen every single matchup against Detroit, those quarterbacks go off against that team, right? And so now, and they become such a pass funnel too that like it's you're not able to run against them. They have shut down multiple high-end running backs in a row. It's you throw against them. That is how you beat the Lions. And so Kirk Cousins is a fantastic option this week. I have Kirk Cousins as almost a top 6 quarterback this week. He is a fantastic play.
Well, okay, well that's a good point you just made, but I'll just take last week as an example for the Dallas Cowboys, right? They dominated the entire game. Dak Prescott, he had what? I think 18 fantasy points, which is okay, but Kirk Cousins, he's had. I mean, what's the ceiling with a guy like Kirk Cousins? Like 21, 22 points, maybe 23.
Ceiling? I mean, I think you could say he has like a
Kirk
30-point ceiling. Yeah,
I think his ceiling is like 22 points, something like that, in my opinion. With a guy like Dak Prescott, with his rushing upside and his ability to throw the football downfield, he's a guy that can get you 30 points any week. And you make a good point that if the Cowboys get up early, yes, they can run the ball, but to get up early, they're going to pass that ball. They're not going to get up early by just running the football. They're going to have to pass, and Dak Prescott's going to throw for touchdowns. I think he can potentially throw 2 or 3 touchdowns easily in this game.
I think you'd say the same thing about Cousins too, though, right?
Yeah.
Sure, but I'll take the rushing upside that Dak Prescott gives us as well. That I don't see with Kirk Cousins.
Rushing
But-
upside? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
He has 71 rushing yards on the year, bro. 71 total.
I mean, I'm
That
not
is-
talking. I'm not necessarily talking about rushing yards, but I'm saying
You just
maybe-
said rushing upside.
I'm talking more about taking carries in the goal line and just running the football in the red zone, in the end zone. I mean,
He has one rushing touchdown all year. Like that's just not what they do. Like, especially with the injuries that he's had, like they just don't do that. When you have Zeke and you have Tony Pollard, there is zero reason for them to have to do that. I mean, Kirk Cousins is only 11, 12 rushing yards away from him, and Kirk Cousins has more rushing touchdowns than what Dak Prescott has. So
That's hilarious.
I still think
Yeah, for me, it just comes down to the game environment and the projected game script. Because you're looking at that Dallas game, there's 16.5-point favorites, and I'm with Kev. I think if they're able to, they're just going to run the ball. There's no reason for them to have Dak drop back in this game multiple times and risk an injury. They're obviously headed for a postseason run. A lot of these postseason runs for Dallas have ended, early. They've been disappointing. So especially with how well Pollard has been playing, Zeke has been looking pretty solid as well. So I just really don't think there's any reason for them to put Dak or CeeDee Lamb for that matter in any kind of situation where they could potentially be risking injury. You're outvoted anyway, Walito. With Joe Mixon back, do you think Samaje still gets a good amount of work to be fantasy viable? I mean, for me with Perine, I'd have to be in a deeper league. Like, I don't think you have to plug in Perine in, probably even like a 12-team league unless you're just unless you're desperate for running back help. I think Cincy would be smart to have Perine a little bit more involved, especially with how well he's been playing the past couple of weeks. But I think this just ends up going back to like a 70% Mixon workload.
I don't think Perine is going to be startable at all if Joe Mixon, because this is not the first time this is happening, right? Joe Mixon gets injured every single year, and every time Samaje Perine steps in, he takes all the touches, he goes crazy for like 2 weeks, and then Mixon comes back and he just steps in right into the role he had before he got injured, which is 70%, 75% of the opportunities in the backfield. They're just not willing to give anyone a lot of touches behind Joe Mixon whenever he's on the field. It's been the same way every single time Joe Mixon's getting injured every year. Always the same thing.
Kev,
So
do you see any fantasy viability?
no, I mean, you just look at what he's done. I mean, prior to, I mean, before that, he was a nothing. I mean, he had one game over for double-digit fantasy points. That was all the way back in week 3. Scored a touchdown. So possibly he sees a little bit more work, but it's probably still going to be 25-30% of the snaps is probably what he'll end up playing. And so, no, I don't think so. He's worth a hold if something else happens to Joe Mixon, but I'm not playing him this week.
He's only going to be a third down back.
Andrea, need to hear Hollywood Brown, DJ Moore, or Smitty in a PPR.
Devonta Smith and Hollywood.
Kev, you're starting DJ Moore and who?
And Devonta Smith.
So you're not playing Hollywood?
No.
I'm always so wrong about DJ Moore. But
So it's a really good matchup for him, and talks a lot about that talks a lot about Sam Darnold's connection with DJ Moore. Like he was very, very good with Darnold last year. We saw it in his first game with him this year. He came out and had one of his better starts of the season. And so I think DJ Moore can be a top 15 wide receiver rest season. Like he's got the talent. It's just quarterback play has been so bad. Not that Sam Darnold's great, but if Sam Darnold's going to pepper him with targets, and Sam Darnold is better than Baker Mayfield and anybody else they roll out there. And so it's a pretty good matchup against Seattle. Like Seattle's defense has started to crumble and started to turn back to the team a little bit what we thought they were going to be. And so I like DJ Moore this week. I think he's a really solid play, and I don't hate Hollywood Brown. I just have him just outside of where I have those other two. I have Hollywood Brown at wide receiver 23, and I have DJ Moore ahead of him, and I have Devonta Smith at 15.
So where do you have DJ Moore? 20, 22?
I have DJ Moore at wide receiver 18.
18?
Yeah.
I'm going to set Hollywood as well. I'm never right about DJ Moore, but I like the way that game.
It's just the offense, the better offense, the better quarterback. I'm just banking on that with Hollywood.
Yep, but you also, DeAndre Hopkins is involved.
Sure.
Rondo, I do expect Rondo Moore to also probably be back as well. He was out the last time that we've only seen one game now with Marquise Brown and Hopkins on the field together, and now this will be the first time we've seen.
Yeah, and he played 97% of the snaps, and he saw 8 targets.
Of course, he's going to. I'm not. That's not the point. But he's still not going to see. He's not going to see the ridiculous target share every single week with that. And so
he got 8,
and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's also the Patriots secondary has been pretty good now. So we'll see.
Yeah, I just looked at a third in pass DVOA on the year and giving up the 8th fewest PPR points per game. The Patriots. AP rocking with us. That Avi always makes me chuckle inside. Carson went through a big Toy Story phase for a while, so that one always makes me laugh. I have Pittman and McLaurin on bye this week, so I need a wide receiver too. Some rough options, but I got Chark, Collins, MVS, and Boyd. It's gonna be Trent Sherfield.
That's DJ Chark for me. Because I do think Brandon Cooks comes back this week.
Does it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Nico Collins has been the wide receiver 1 on this team for a while now.
On the worst offense in the NFL?
Sure. No doubt. But I'm just saying, that's why I mean, Brandon Cooks doesn't matter, though. That doesn't matter to me, that Brandon Cooks comes back or not.
Oh, sure. I still think it hurts his ceiling a little bit. But it doesn't matter because no one on this offense does any ceiling.
I would probably go DJ Chark. It does feel a little point chasey because of what he did last week, but this has a really high game total back and forth. So I think that you see a lot of targets here in this, and they still don't. Jameson Williams is playing very, very little, and so I don't expect that to change all of a sudden this week. And so I still think it's Chark. I really want to get as much action on this game as I can. I would go DJ Chark.
Chark did great on my DFS lineups last week, so
I think he was 3,800. I think he was
38. Yep.
I'll be back.
So we've already answered this one. We've already had this. So let's go. We'll go Kirk because we already had that one. Let's see. Andrea, need one, Rachaad White or Zonovan Knight, PPR. I think for me, I would probably go Rachaad White. It's close. I think Zonovan Knight probably sees more touches, but it's tough because both of these teams are in really bad matchups. The Bills are a great run defense. The 49ers are a great run defense. So neither one of these guys I just think Rachaad White probably has a little bit higher ceiling in terms of the passing game. So with this being a PPR, we kind of saw it last week where his carries dropped off a little bit. He only saw 9, but he saw 8 targets, and he has now seen 17 targets over the last 2 games. And so I do think Zonovan Knight, even with Michael Carter likely coming back this week, I still don't think it matters. I think Zonovan Knight remains the guy, but I don't think he's probably going to see as much pass catching work. So at least for this week, I think I would probably still go Rachaad White in a PPR.
I agree. I'll go with Rachaad White as well.
But I will say Zonovan Knight's schedule rest of season, though, is awesome for the fantasy playoffs. So
I mean, you can say the same
especially
thing
with matchups against Detroit and Seattle.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
Rachaad White gets
Jacksonville and Seattle.
Arizona. He gets Arizona and Carolina, which is not bad either.
Yeah,
but
so both of them are good options moving forward. But
and we're really starting to
White.
see much more of a 50-50 share in this Tampa Bay backfield with White and Fournette.
And I don't think it's going to change. I think they really like Rachaad White, and I think they want to keep Leonard Fournette healthy. I think this is a way to do that, and you actually have a confident running back that can do everything. So, where like years past, like last year, they didn't have that. I mean, last year was Ronald Jones. I mean, Ronald Jones isn't,
is he still with the
pass
Chiefs?
catching back. He is, unfortunately, but he's playing very little. Yeah, that's where I would lean on that one. Abraham again, Tyler Bass or Nick Folk. Kicker questions.
Tyler Bass. Tyler Bass.
Trying to see. So it's still really early in the week. But actually that Buffalo Jets game has 60% chance, no win. So that's really important. There's no win, but there is a 60% chance of rain. And during the game, looks like it's about 80% chance of 60%. Yeah, about 60% all that game. But again, it's only Wednesday night, so that could change dramatically. But I don't see any. There's no any snow or super high wind or anything like that we have to look at. So and there's nothing really weather-wise you really have to worry about. So I would go Tyler Bass here.
I agree.
808, your thoughts on Jeff Wilson this week? This is a great matchup. Like about as good as you can get. I talked about him in the running back video that I did. The Chargers have been dreadful against the run this year. They are 30th in rush DVOA. I think they're second in fantasy points allowed to the running back position. And it's a really smart strategy way to attack this team is just to attack them on the ground. They're a lot better. They're only 16th. They're 16th in pass DVOA. And so you really want to get them on the ground. But, we've seen other matchups like this. Houston 2 weeks ago, where we thought that the Texans or the Dolphins would just run all over them. They didn't at all. Thankfully, Jeff Wilson kind of got there with a touchdown. And then last week, I think that was more game script depending. I think he only saw 1 touch in that game. But so I don't mind him, but I still think he's like a low end RB2 this week, just because he's harder to trust with how they might deploy him.
Yeah, but it is concerning to me that he only saw 1 carry while Raheem Mostert got 7.
They just got blown out. I mean, they got the doors blown off. I mean, I don't think they really wanted to run the ball anyway because, I mean, the 49ers are a very good run defense. I mean, they're arguably top 2, top 3 in the league, at stopping the run. They are second in rush DVOA on the year. So I think it was a smart approach, like not really trying to run the ball against them. But then they also got boat raced in that game.
Yeah, but I just don't know. We just don't know what to expect. Is it going to be 50-50 or is
right? There's some risk there, but I think you feel much better about this game script and how this game will play out, especially with the Chargers. Because the Chargers seem to find a way to blow everything that they do, and so
sure. But I just don't think it's a great matchup. But I just don't think Miami's going to run the ball. That's just my problem with this. How much can we expect them to run the football in the game where we might see the Chargers take the lead or keep it very close? And we don't.
Right, but you also you have 6 teams on bye this week, so I
Right.
mean, if you probably don't have a ton of other options. Like I said, he's still. I
Oh
have him
yeah,
as
no, I'm
kind
not.
of a low
Yeah,
end RB2. Like I don't. I have him at RB20. Like I don't have him at like RB12. Or RB13. So I do think that, but it's a great matchup. So the matchup's there, process is there, and before where we've seen him in much closer game scripts. I mean, Jeff Wilson was leading this backfield in the 2 games prior to that before Raheem Mostert missed, and so. I don't think there's any room to be worried about Raheem Mostert's all of a sudden going to be the lead back here again. I think it was just game script, and they were game scripted out.
I mean, you feel as good as you can with that type of backfield.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Tua and you have Tyreek and you have Jalen Waddle, there are going to be times where you're just going to want to throw the ball.
Anime, Jets or Cards defense rest of season.
Jets rest of season. Now this
Yeah.
week's a little bit different. I don't really want to play them against the Bills, but though we have seen them once before against the Bills, do a pretty good job against them. But rest of season after this, you get Detroit, Jacksonville, and Seattle. So you feel pretty good.
Yeah. Alexis, week 14, I am now starting the toilet bowl playoffs with a bye in my main league. Hey, got to get that bye week in the toilet bowl, right? In another league, do I start Evans, Najee, or Pacheco?
I'm going to go Pacheco. This is a great script for Isaiah Pacheco. The Chiefs are going to do very similar things that they did against the Rams, where they're going to bleed more vanilla. They're going to run the ball a lot more. There's no concern with the Broncos being the Chiefs, and especially as bad as their offense has been. And so this is a really good spot. Isaiah Pacheco over his last 3 games, averaging 17 carries per game, 80 rushing yards and a touchdown, and about 14.1 fantasy points per game. Denver, they're okay against the run. They're 17th in rush DVOA. They've allowed the 12th most rushing yards. They've done a good job at stopping them at the red zone. They've allowed the 6th fewest touchdowns, but it's a little bit different when you're facing the Chiefs offense, and you can't just load up the box and think that's all they're going to do. So I think Isaiah Pacheco is in a really good spot, and then you have Najee, who is not in a great spot this week. This isn't the best matchup for him, and then Mike Evans, you really just can't trust that they're just not looking for him deep because one, their offensive line is so bad they don't have Tom to set up that deep ball, right? And so they're getting the ball out of Tom Brady's hands so fast that they just don't have the time. And then you're going up against one of the best defenses in the league that's going to be able to get pressure on them. Like everything is just get the ball out of their hands. That's why you're seeing Chris Godwin get peppered with targets, and they're not having this time because it's not like you have a mobile quarterback who can move around and kind of extend the plays and kind of get out of structure. As soon as you can't do that with him. He is a sitting statue back there. So everything is just get the ball out. That's why Tom Brady's average depth of target is one of the lowest we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, and deep targets really haven't been there, and so that's why touchdowns haven't been there for Mike Evans. He only has 3 on the year, and it's because he's just not seeing those opportunities, and so his target share has dropped. And now that Chris Godwin's back fully healthy, it's killing Mike Evans. And so Mike Evans is a super hard player to trust.
It's gonna be Mike Evans for me. I'm not even going to consider Najee Harris. I like Pacheco this week, but I'm going to go with Mike Evans. And they did look Mike Evans deep last week. They did throw him the ball down the field last week. That almost connected on a 60-yard touchdown, actually, which ended up being pass interference because Paulson Adebo sucks.
But he saw 4 targets. So
he saw 4 targets, yeah, sure, but one of them should have been a 60-yard touchdown, which ended up being a pass interference. And I still think Mike Evans, he's going to be – he has so much touchdown upside. Whenever Tampa Bay steps into that red zone, Mike Evans, they're going to look at Mike Evans and going to try to get him the ball. And so is this a game where Mike Evans could catch 3 passes for 25 yards, but 2 of them are touchdowns? Yes. I think that's certainly possible.
You could, yeah, but you'd also be betting against what's happened all year. That just hasn't happened all year. He's 3 touchdowns all year. So,
Sure, but
I mean,
you're not going to be able to run the football against the 49ers. They're going to have to throw it.
right, and that's why you're going to see a lot of dump offs to Rashad White and Leonard Fournette and Chris Godwin, and everything's going to be kept
But
underneath.
I just don't think that's going to be the case. I
So
still
you're betting
believe
on
that they're going to
something
do.
completely that hasn't happened all year to all of a sudden start happening in this 1 week against the best defense in the league.
No, I'm not saying it's going to happen. But I'm going to take that chance. I just don't see with Pacheco is just how much a Chiefs really going to give him the ball. Like it's just so frustrating.
20 plus carries. He's an easy lock for 20 plus
20.
carries in this game. Yeah, 20 plus touches, easy.
I don't think so. I mean, you're a Chiefs guy. I'm not going to question you, but it's just so tough. Every time you mention a Chiefs running back, it's just so tough to believe that he's going to get 20 touches.
But he's been good. I mean, the 3 starts he said, like I said, he's
been
averaging
good.
14.1 PPR
Sure,
points per game. I mean, that's that, and just 3 starts. I mean, his last 2 weeks.
As I said, I don't hate him at all. I don't hate that choice at all. But I'm just
very similar, like I said, against the Rams. He saw 22 carries in that game. It's going to be a very similar type of script. They're not going to open up this offense. They're not going to throw the ball 50 times. They're just not going to have to. They're going to be much more vanilla. They're going to move the ball down the field, and they're going to run the ball a lot. And so it's pretty easy, to go with Isaiah Pacheco here. Cody, break the tie.
Najee Harris.
I thought about it. Not gonna lie, I actually thought about it. But I am gonna go just because I don't love any of these options, to be honest. So I am gonna go Pacheco. Just give me the best offense, more likely to see the most red zone trips. That I was thinking Najee just because we've seen him outside of the Colts game 2 of the past 3 weeks. We've seen him be more involved. Jalen Warren we thought he was going to start taking more carries. He kind of went back to that third down role. But it's just not a fantastic matchup like Kev was saying. Baltimore 6th in rush DVOA and bottom 10 in PPR points per game to running backs. And Denver has fallen off in terms of rush DVOA. They're now down to 17th, where earlier in the year they were like a top 3, top 5 team in rush DVOA. So like Kevin was saying, I think we could see something similar to the Rams game, where he wasn't super efficient, 22 carries, 69 yards, but he did find the end zone. So, breaking the tie, Pacheco, Fractal Rain. Full PPR, we need 2. Marquise, Zonovan, DJ Dallas, Cook, Burks, Slayton, and Nick Westbrook Akini.
I'm going to go the first 2.
Has there been any news on Michael Carter for this week?
I think what I saw today is that he probably will be back, but Robert Saleh already said that Zonovan Knight's the starter moving forward, that he's earned the right. So, I think my mind is that you're probably going to see where it's just a 2-man committee between him and Carter, but I think it's going to be much more of a split towards Zonovan Knight, probably 60-40, 65-35, something like that. Zonovan Knight has looked really good in his 2 games, and he's also more than capable pass catcher. So, wouldn't be surprised if this ends up just being more of a early, because they don't seem to like Michael Carter all that much.
I'm going to lock in Hollywood for sure. And if Michael Carter plays,
so and for the record, my ranking that I have of Zonovan Knight is with the expectation that Michael Carter plays. So I'm not really.
Where do you have him ranked?
RB22. So I have him as like kind of a low end because it's just not the best matchup. But I still think like last week he saw 5 targets.
So with Treylon Burks, it just sounds unlikely he's
think
going to
he
play this week.
plays.
I was gonna say that's why he's not even a question for me. Like I don't
Yeah,
think he's
yeah.
playing. We've seen too many times now with these guys that get concussions that they do not play the next week. They have taken a completely different approach with concussions, especially with the Tua stuff that happened. Like I mean, he was knocked out cold, and so I do not think he plays.
Yeah, and DJ Dallas, he's also injured himself. He missed practice today, as well as Kenneth Walker. So I'm not going to go with him, but I think I'll go Darius Slayton here if Michael Carter is playing. He's just been that number one guy for the Giants, and he's been getting a lot of targets, and he's been catching
He
them.
has. It's just this week he's going to be going up against Darius Slay, so I'd prefer not.
But is he? Yeah. I mean, is Darius Slay really going to shadow him? That's
No, but their corners have been really good. Like
Yeah, you saw Bradbury on the other side.
yeah.
But
Tony,
he's
where are
just-
you going?
Well, the only thing that we're certain of is Hollywood Brown. Because I'm going to go James Cook.
James Cook. Okay.
Cody, you just hate Zonovan Knight. I think you just hate Bam Knight.
I don't.
I don't know
He
why I
was-
call
he
him Bam.
was-
I hate that name. I hate people are calling him Bam Knight. Like it's Zonovan is such a badass name. Like, what are we doing? Why do we got to call him Bam?
I liked Zonovan Knight. He was one of the guys I liked coming into this year before he went undrafted. Really liked his skill set coming out of NC State. But if Carter comes back, I get what you're saying, Kev. Sala said that he's a starter. I still think it's going to be a split backfield. I don't think that he sees the same amount of work. So that's the only thing that scares me off there. And then it is the Jets, right? Like feels a little point chasey going after James Cook here, but played the most amount of snaps that he's played all year, 43%. Previous high before that was like 25.
But do you think that was because of game script? You think it was because they were blowing out the Patriots that he got to play so much more? Do you think in a close game that would be the case? Because that would be the question. I love James Cook too. Like I like moving forward, but I would be concerned about that. Like that we saw this in an absolute blowout versus if this is a close game.
That's what I personally believe, and that's pretty much where I'm at because. And
I still think James Cook's in play because I think he is going to.
But,
he's the better running back. There's no question. He's a better running back than than Devin Singletary is. And so I think that, but I would just be a little concerned that maybe some of that was due to just game script.
Yeah, and I do believe it's due to game script because if you look at 2 weeks ago, Thanksgiving, right? James Cook got 2 carries against the Lions. 2. Devin Singletary had 14. If we look 3 weeks ago in a pretty close game against Cleveland, he got 11 carries, which is pretty good, but Devin Singletary had 19. So he's still that clear number 2, and he's not going to have more carries than Devin Singletary. He's still the number 2 running back. And at that point, just give me Zonovan Knight, who I know is going to have more touches than James Cook in that game. And they're both capable of catching 3 or 4 passes easily.
Yeah, I mean, even in the blowout last week, he still saw 6 targets. 2 weeks ago, in that close game, like you were saying, Walito still saw 5 targets. So, and I think going up against a defense like the Jets, we could see him get more involved a little bit earlier.
Sure, but Zonovan Knight is also going to get 4, 5, 6 targets. But he's also going to get the carries that James Cook is not going to get.
Well, then why didn't you say Zonovan Knight, Walito?
Because
God.
You said Darius Slayton.
We
yes, but we're
okay.
All right, Alexis. Will there be another playoff competition between the people in the Discord this year, like last year? Yes, more than likely. It was pretty easy to set up. We'll do it again. I think I finished like second or third in that last year. I can't remember. It was pretty close. It was nice.
Who won it?
Um,
I don't remember who won.
I can't remember who won.
What was it? Was
I
it
can't
was it for
remember.
like a signed jersey? No, it was, right?
I don't remember what we did it for.
No,
Like,
that was 2 years ago. I think last year we just ended up doing like a T-shirt.
and didn't TN did we do that? Didn't TN give somebody a gift card?
I think TN
Yeah.
tried to, but then we couldn't get a hold of the person because TN just coming in. He's like, "Hey, I'll give $1,000 to whoever." TN just dropping his nuts all over the place, just out here balling out of control.
Yeah. Anime. Najee or Jamal Williams for RB2? I'm gonna go Najee on this one.
Yeah, it just seems like DeAndre Swift is taking back this backfield. He's just taking over again.
Well, it's that, and Jamal Williams is really. I mean, those 14 touchdowns are all of his fantasy production. Like that's really all he does. Like he's been really bad outside of that, but he just keeps and like I think it's like 8 of his 14 or 8 or 9 of his 4. I think it may be 9 now because he scored last week. 9 of his 14 touchdowns have all come within the one. Like it's just insane. Like that. Like that's that they get there and he just every time I'm like, God damn it, here he comes again. Here comes Jamal Williams. 1 yard line.
I mean, listen, his best game of the season was against Minnesota back in Week 3. So Minnesota has been terrible against the run. And I know DeAndre Swift is back. He's getting a lot of touches, but it's this Vikings defense is so bad against the run that Jamal Williams can.
The Vikings have been pretty good against the run, actually. Like especially the last 6 weeks, they're 13th in rush DVOA. Like they've gotten better. It's past where you want to get them. They're 27th in pass DVOA. They're 13th against the run. Like they've done a better job, and they're more in middle of the road now, in terms of the other stuff. So because I talked about DeAndre Swift and why I want to play him, like it's not a terrible matchup. On the season, they're 15th in rush DVOA, and over the last 4 games, that's what they rank. And then 14th most rushing yards, 15th most touchdowns, 15th most fantasy points. Like they're pretty middle of the road. Where they struggle is against pass catching running backs, where they allow the 5th most receiving yards and the 6th most receptions.
Yeah.
Which is where DeAndre Swift comes in, not Jamal Williams. So, I don't mind Jamal Williams, but he is so touchdown dependent. If he doesn't find the end zone, he's not going to he's not going to be worth it. Where Najee, I can plug him in, and I know he's probably going to see 18 to 20 touches.
But this is why Jamal Williams is always in play, right? Because you never know when
because he scored 14 touchdowns this year. I mean,
you never know when he's going to score 3 touchdowns.
He's like a poor man's James Conner from last year. That's exactly what James Conner was.
But it's not a great matchup either for Najee Harris, right? Against Baltimore.
Yeah. So Alexis, why are the Lions minus 2.5 point favorites on the Vikings? The Lions have been playing really good football lately. I mean, like the last month and a half. I mean, they've been a much different team. Like they're not that team that you can roll over. Like I was kind of looking at it because like it's possible. Like it's probably not likely, but it's possible that if they reel off a bunch of wins here to close out the season, which their schedule is not bad, you beat the Vikings, and then you have some games coming up where they could easily win and go on an even longer run here. And it's not crazy to think the Lions could sneak into the playoffs. I mean, you have some of these teams that are kind of hanging around there at the bottom, and then the 49ers with the injury to, if they're going to run out Brock Purdy, like it's possible that they could drop some games as well. Seattle could catch them. Like it's not crazy to think that they could sneak their way into the 8th seed. It's probably not going to happen, but this Lions team isn't some pushover anymore. And so it's not crazy. They are at home. And so it's not crazy to think.
It's Vegas, baby. They know things.
That line is completely shifted as well. That opened up as 2-point home underdogs, and now that's been flipped and bet all the way to 2.5 point favorites.
And just going back to the last question with Najee Harris. Najee Harris missed practice today. He did not practice.
I don't care. It's Wednesday. We don't care about Wednesday practice.
I know.
Like it's expected, especially with the injuries he's been dealing with. Like I didn't know that matters. DeAndre Swift was questionable today too.
But
it doesn't matter. Wednesday practices, especially this time of the year. A lot of these guys are going to get time off. Starters, you're not going to run around, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm agreeing, but I'm just saying it's a situation that we need to keep an eye on. Saying
Aquaman. Pickens, Boyd, Perine in the flex.
George Pickens. Easy.
Oh, here we go. We're gonna be different. What are we doing, Cody?
I mean,
no
Tyler
consideration for
Boyd's his
Boyd.
guy, right?
No consideration for Boyd.
I mean,
No,
wasn't it?
not with Jamar Chase, not with T. Higgins,
Yeah,
not with Joe
yeah.
Mixon. Like it's just he's not. Give me George Pickens, and he's going to be the greasy wheel this week, right? He's complaining after that game that he needs to get more targets. It's George Pickens.
I hate to be the one that brings this up, but wasn't it like 2 years ago that Cody had Tyler Boyd as a top 12 wide receiver?
He was on pace. He got hurt. He was actually he was a top 12 wide receiver before he got hurt. So he wasn't crazy to say it.
That's right. You sit your ass down, Molito. Never come at me like that. He was a wide receiver 11 until Joe Burrow.
And to be fair, that was also the year that he called DK Metcalf well before DK Metcalf broke out. And like most people had him as like a wide receiver 3, like high end wide receiver 4, and Cody had him as a top 12 wide receiver, and he finished as a top 12 wide receiver. So
that was also the year Kev called Jonathan Taylor Trent Richardson. But that's
for the first half of the year, he looked like Trent Richardson. So
you win some, you lose some.
I'm just joking.
Ashton coming through with a super chat. Appreciate you. Depending on who misses for Seattle, Akers or Homer.
I'd go Akers.
I mean, I'm just going to chase Akers.
If Travis Homer is the number 1 running back for this week, I'm going Travis Homer. Because it looks like Kenneth Walker is not playing. That's for sure. That's one. He's not going to play.
I think Tony
DJ
Jones
Dallas
plays.
Yeah, DJ Dallas, we don't know. He hasn't practiced today. We'll need to look if he practices on Thursday or Friday. And then Tony Jones, he's not injured. He's going to play. But I think Travis Homer, if he's the number 1 running back, I'm going with him.
I'm just going to go Akers here. It feels super point chasey from him going to doing absolutely nothing to what he did last week, but the snaps were there, and the matchups also here as well, going up against the Raiders, 21st in run DVOA, giving up the 5th most PPR points per game.
TN.
He's just always listening. He's just always hanging out there.
The
TN,
man.
just the man.
He is the GOAT, the one and only, the man.
No question. Literally just drops that and says he's going to give away more money.
For the playoff poll, I will give an Amazon e-gift card to the winner, but there has to be an email associated with. Otherwise, I will just send it to Cody just because. So Cody's just going to be like, no one sent me an email. Nobody sent it to me. I don't know what happened. Like, but
after he used it himself.
Yeah, so we'll definitely maybe we'll start advertising for it too. But yeah, we'll definitely do the playoff challenge. It was a lot of fun. You have to be in the Discord though, because it's a lot easier for us to communicate with people. We tried it before with you can let anybody in, but the tough part with that is it's really hard to track people down with only have like their YouTube handle. So you have to be in the Discord because then we can easily just DM you and let you know. So and TN's going to sweeten the pot. And, give it an Amazon e-gift card. Perfect time of the year, right after Christmas. Valentine's Day is going to be coming up. So, if you got to buy somebody something, So, anyways, come in there. You're going to lose to me, but, whatever.
Yeah, we'll make sure we make an announcement here as well. But we will put the link to join and everything else in the Discord, like Kev said. And that's no strings attached, anything like that. Not trying to pull any wool over anyone's eyes. Just it's way too hard to try and do it through YouTube. Like Kev said, we did that a couple of years ago, and we did the signed jersey giveaways, and it literally took Kev 3 weeks to pin down a winner. So we'll definitely make sure we drop that and let everyone know what's going on. We'll make an announcement before that, but the link will be in the Discord.
While we're talking about this, y'all want a TFA Listen League update? Because it's the last week before playoffs. And our boy CHB is currently first. Ashton is second. They're both 9-4. Christian, our boy Christian, he's third. 8-5. Porch is 4th, 8-5. Kingdom 5th, and 24K God is also 6th. I am 7th. I need to win this week in order to make the playoffs. So does Robbie, and so does Tom, because we're all 6 and 7. And so whoever wins goes to the playoffs. But I'm hoping Robbie loses. I really hope Robbie loses this week. Really, really hope that Robbie loses.
Well, Kels, you start Mike Williams if he plays. I personally would not. I don't know. I would be too afraid of having a situation like I said at the top of the show as to what happened a couple of weeks ago, and he came back, had that one catch, did the toe drag, and then was out.
I think it would just depend on who you had. If I was going to play him, like it is a good matchup. Dolphins really struggle and against the pass, so I don't. It would just really depend on your other options if I was going to play him or not. So it is a good, really good matchup for him though. Kyle, also have Murray as my quarterback, so minor conflict of interest. Did we miss? Was there another part? Was there a question up top that we?
Oh, it was that was back. The Raiders versus the Pats
stream,
defense.
Yeah, the streaming defense Raiders or the Pats.
It really does not matter to me. Like if your QB plays against a defense you're playing, I don't care. I really don't care.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal. But I would probably, if it's the Raiders, I'd probably want to go the Raiders
over New England defense.
Oh, I didn't know that was the other option. You just said the Raiders.
Because he was asking us which defense do we rather have between the Raiders and the Pats.
I think I would still rather go the Raiders. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. This Rams offense is terrible, but is the Raiders defense anything?
And really, they said there's a chance that Baker Mayfield could play. I was like,
oh no, please God.
Actually, I don't know how. Like they just picked him up. Like he would get like Thursday, or I guess it's not. Or no, they do play Thursday night, and they play tomorrow night, right? Yeah, that's Thursday night game.
There's no point in tanking. They don't even have their first round pick.
I know that's probably why they did it, because like they're hoping that maybe Baker Mayfield can win them a few more games, because right now they're just giving away a top 5 pick. Saints are heading towards that door too. The Eagles are like, thank you guys, thank you. For that same gift that they're giving.
You have to bring it up.
To the 11-1 Eagles just going to get a top 5 pick.
And it's crazy because three of the projected top 5 picks in the draft have been traded picks. Because it looks like the Seahawks own the Broncos pick, which is I think second or third. The Lions own the Rams pick, and then the Eagles own the Saints pick.
Not good, but at least the Rams have a Super Bowl to show for it recently. Emilio, need a flex, Mike Evans, Jeff Wilson, or Josh Palmer, full PPR.
Josh Palmer. I'm doing it. Josh Palmer.
So if Mike Williams plays, I would go Mike Evans, and if he doesn't play, I would go Josh Palmer.
Yeah, I agree, but I just don't think Mike Williams plays.
I think it would be Palmer for me, regardless.
If he played, I don't know if I would like him as much. But he's still not a bad play. But
he might get injured again.
Then I would probably lean towards Mike Evans. Yeah, but I try not to play that way. I don't like to just go into it thinking that's going to happen. Kells, I have Jerry Jeudy, Slayton, Mike Williams, Nico Collins, Corey Davis. Pick 2 start this week.
First 2, Jeudy and Slayton.
So I'm going to go Mike Williams if Mike Williams plays. And then I would go Jerry Jeudy.
Because Cortland Sutton is not playing this week. Sounds like he's not going to play. So
if Mike Williams does not play Kev, who you going?
I'd probably go Nico Collins.
I can't.
With this group, I would risk Mike Williams if he plays. So it'd be Jeudy and Williams. If Williams does not play, it'd be Jeudy and Slayton for me.
So the thing with Slayton is he has no ceiling whatsoever, right? But he's been constantly been producing every single week. Like he's a lock to give you 10 to 12 points every week, pretty much.
Purple Cat. How are we feeling about Slayton Hollywood Brown this week?
Okay.
Which is a better play?
Oh,
You tweeted
Hollywood.
to him, I'm definitely going Hollywood.
Hollywood, 100%.
With Slayton, you're just betting on him leading in targets, and you're hoping that he can slip behind the defense. You know what I mean? That's basically what you're hoping for with Slayton.
Yeah. And Slayton doesn't even get that many targets. He just catches them all.
Isaiah Hodgins, baby. Let's go.
Isaiah Hodgins.
T-Hex 416. Is Perine a good flex play? I'm in bye week hell this week. 6 guys out. Carter is other option. Chark, Akers, Homer on waivers.
I would drop Michael Carter for Cam Akers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you go Akers over Chark?
Yes. It just feels weird with DJ Chark because it just seems like this week is going to be one of those games where he gets you like one catch for 12 yards, and that's it. Just feels like it. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I would.
It's
I'd
close.
rather play Chark.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe he has probably a little bit higher of a ceiling, right?
Oh, for sure.
I don't mind it. If you want to go, especially Thursday nights, I hate playing anybody on Thursday nights. I really do. So I mean, if you want to go Chark, I think you can definitely do that. Like, I think it's fair. I think it's a fair option.
But this Raiders,
because Cam Akers, if the Raiders get up quickly, Cam Akers is going to be game scripted out because he's not involved in the passing game. Where you don't have to worry about that with Chark, obviously. So
yeah, but I just feel like this could really be the same situation that we saw last week in this Rams Seahawks game, right? The Seahawks didn't blow them out. The Rams kept it close the entire game.
That's what's going to have to happen for him to pay off, but
because the Seahawks' run defense is so bad, and I think it's just the same thing with the Raiders. Their run defense is so bad that Cam Akers can just run through and score the first touchdown of the game. Then the Rams take the lead.
I mean, Minnesota 24th in pass DVOA, giving up the second most PPR points per game. Only the Titans have given up more. And then in that game, what is it, 52 and a half point total, I believe. Definitely, I feel like I've said this 18 times already in the past hour, but point chasey for sure. But Chark has been like decently involved all year. 8, 4, 6 targets. And then, he came back, obviously, week 11, only played 16% of the snaps, saw 1 target. But then the past 2 weeks, 5 and 6. So I would go Chark over Perine. The Gurus podcast. What's up, boys? Are we starting Hollywood, Homer if KDW3 is out, or Zay Jones?
Hollywood.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Anime matchup wise, who would be a better play for points, Jeff Wilson or Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Do we still start Mike Evans? Chris, if you're still rocking with us, let us know. Let let us know what options you have.
I'll say yes because I doubt there are not a lot of better options than Mike Evans, honestly.
I don't know. It depends. I have 19 of them.
You have him at wide receiver 20? I mean, I guess that's not too low.
I mean, he hasn't been that great this year, really. I mean, he's been
Well, just
pretty
it's
fucking mid.
it's not really him. It's just Bucks
Well,
offense.
no, but it's the offense is not the same. But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you have to go back to week 8, the last time that he scored over 15 fantasy points. I mean, he has one game of 30. He has no other games of 20 the rest of the entire year. I mean, so right now his ceiling is. I mean, yeah, he has that one game of 30 when they played the Chiefs, but other than that, it's been rough. And he's not seeing a lot of red zone targets too. Last 3 games, he only has 1.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah, Chris, if you're still with us, let us know what options you have. Do we trust Swift moving forward? That one coming from Kells.
I mean, easy on that S word, okay, or that T word. Trusting him, okay. We're not trusting him, right? I'm not like 100%. I'm all in. But I think it was very encouraging seeing what he did this past week, seeing the touches that he has. We haven't really seen that in a while from him. So I think they can keep it going as long as he can stay healthy. That is the operative word. If he can stay healthy, and if he can, then yes, I think you can definitely trust him. I think you can make a case that he's even RB1 upside this week.
Yeah, I'm plugging Swift into a guillotine lineup this week and just letting it ride.
I'm gonna have a lot of Swift in my DFS lineups.
It's gonna hope for the best. Cubanito, we need to bench to in a full PPR. JWJ, ETN, Pacheco, Rashad White, Cook, Foreman.
So we're sitting to. So I'm sitting James Cook, and I think I'm gonna sit Jeff Wilson.
I agree. It's actually really close for me between ETN and Jeff Wilson. Like, I do not like ETN all that much this week, kind of like last week. This is not a good matchup. The Titans have been really, really good against opposing running backs this year.
This is one of the situations where you just trust the volume and the talent of the player, right? I just can't imagine myself sitting Travis Etienne to play James Cook. I just can't do that. I know it's not a good matchup, but
Well, no, it wouldn't be Cook. It'd be between him and Jeff Wilson. But I mean, again, you kind of have to go back to week 9, the last time that he had really a good day. I mean, yes, we could take out the 1 week where he got hurt, but even other than that, he had 10.3 and 7.6, and the touches have been there. He's just not involved in the passing game, which is super frustrating. He does not have a game. He has not had a game this year over 5 targets, and that's only happened twice. Other than that, it's 2 and 3 every single week. It's super frustrating because he's a good pass catching running back, but they refuse to use him that way. He's 28th in target share. They're just not throwing him the football, and so it's frustrating. He's a better pass catcher than what they're utilizing him as. I mean, heck, the one game that he missed, we all of a sudden see Michael Hasty, and get all his pass catching volume. It's just not there, and so the Titans are excellent against the run, and so it's tough to trust Travis. Yeah, sure. I mean, he's a super explosive running back, and so he could rip off find a hole and rip off a 60-yard touchdown and get there, but the Titans are first in rush DVOA. They allow the second fewest touchdowns, yards, and fantasy points for running backs. This is not a good matchup for him. Can he beat it? Sure. But he's still only seeing 58% of the opportunities, which is 19th among all running backs. It's not like, we've seen weeks where he has had a ton. And we've also have to talk about that Trevor Lawrence could possibly miss. They talked about him today that, it's possible he could miss this week. It's not like the Jaguars are playing for anything at this point. And so they're not going to just throw Trevor Lawrence out there. So if he's not out there, that's even more of a concern.
But
So it's tough to trust Travis Etienne this week.
But if Trevor Lawrence were to miss, does that lead to more targets to Travis Etienne?
Could very well could see a lot of dump offs, but
exactly. But I guess.
But you're also dealing with a team in the Titans who are going to run the ball and they're going to try to control the clock, and maybe they don't see that many opportunities, and it's just tough. It's not a great spot for Travis Etienne this week. He's somebody I talked about this week. Is if you wanted to sit him, you could.
Yeah.
Foreman or Hollywood, half PPR.
Foreman
for me as well.
I agree.
Oh, what's up, guys? What's up, BJ? How you feeling about them 49ers? Should I start Zonovan Knight, James Cook, or Michael Gallup at the flex, full PPR?
Zonovan Knight.
I want to go Knight. It frustrates me because I really would love to say I think Michael Gallup could end up being a real steal for people over the last couple of weeks of the season. I think he looks like he's getting better and better coming off that major injury. So Jose, half point PPR for flex. I have Keenan, Godwin, James Cook, ETN, Najee, or Mike Williams. Thanks. If we're only looking at one, it's Chris Godwin.
Yep.
Yep. I would go.
Keenan, yeah, 13 targets.
I'm outvoted.
Yeah, 13
I think it is close. I do agree. I think it's really close between Godwin and Keenan. I think those are the two options. I just lean towards Chris Godwin. Emmanuel. Hello, my favorite fantasy channel. Hello, Emmanuel. Thanks to you guys. I'm 12-1, first place. Let's go. 8-5 and 10-3. Oh, he didn't even have a question. He's just letting us know. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Let's go.
Rocking with us. All 12 team leagues. All thanks to you guys. Much love. Thank you. I'm happy you're doing well. Now it's time to. There's only one thing left to do here. In the wise words of Major League, win the whole fucking thing. Need a RB2 and a flex. I have Foreman, Zonovan Knight, Slayton, Akers, Hubbard. Thanks, guys. Chris. So I'm going to go Foreman and Zonovan Knight.
I'm going to go Foreman and Cam Akers.
Yeah, Foreman and Akers for me as well.
Gonna be wrong. Foo. What's up, guys? What's up, Foo?
What is up?
Noel. Pacheco or Christian Kirk? This is going to be Kirk. Well, actually, let me say this. If Trevor Lawrence plays, it's Christian Kirk. Okay? If he doesn't, it is going to be Pacheco.
I agree.
Goff or Huntley? I'm going to go Goff.
Goff.
Manny T, if Walker's out, who should I start? DJ Dallas, or which Seattle running back are you starting?
Whoever plays.
Yeah, whoever's the healthiest.
I think Tony Jones plays, and I think Homer plays. But I think Tony Jones is going to be the kind of the lead back, where you have Homer sticks in the same role as the kind of third down pass catching work back. So
but if Tony Jones and Travis Homer. Yeah, but that's the thing. If it's Tony Jones and Travis Homer, give me the one that's going to catch the passes.
Yeah, but how many is that going to be? I mean, they're still playing the Panthers. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. So, good matchup. So, yeah, I would probably go Jones. I don't know. If I had to play, like, is that the only options you have? Is there anybody better? Because I kind of just feels like a stay away situation from this backfield, unless everybody's ruled out, it's just going to be like Homer or it's just going to be Tony Jones. Then, okay, maybe you feel a little bit better about it. But right now, it's possible all three of them play, and then it's just like a three-way committee. So, Silver Surfer, do I start Dak or Kyler?
It's going to be Dak for me. We were kind of talking down a little bit about Dak in his matchup, compared to somebody with like Kirk Cousins. But compared to Kyler, I'm going to go Dak.
Sticking with Dak. Staying with him.
Yeah, I probably would go Dak here. Yeah, I agree. Aiden. Love to see Aiden in here. I'm in an 8-man league, and you have to choose between Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, and Amari Cooper. Can only start one. I think
Godwin.
it's Godwin, and then Cody's going to go with Keenan Allen.
Yep.
James James Cook, Rashad White, ETN, Jeff Wilson, Cam Akers, Waddle, DPJ, Jerry Jeudy. Need 2 running backs and 1 flex.
So
So
we can all
I'm
agree
gonna
that
go.
we're
I'm gonna go
so the
with
flex.
Wilson and White.
Yeah. So the flex is Waddle, right? We all agree on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Waddle in the flex,
And then
and then I think it's
As
Cody,
long
what
as
do-
Waddle plays.
Yeah. And Cody, are you on the same running back chart? Because I thought we had a similar question. I think you were on James Cook, right?
Well, I'm outvoted, so
Well, you never know. Maybe Fu believes in your info. You know, believes in you, and he wants to go with your take. You know.
I agree with Kev here. But even if Waddle doesn't play, the flex is going to be Jeudy. I'm not going to play 3 running backs.
Last fish in the pond. Let's go. Still in the survivor pool. That's what I love to see. Still 50 people left in my survivor pool. Thank you for Green Bay last week. This week, thoughts on Pats, Bills, Titans, Philly, or Chiefs versus Broncos.
I think I'll go Tennessee.
I don't know.
Because I want.
It's going to depend. So if this is the way I would see it, last fish. If Trevor Lawrence were to be ruled out, then yes, I would just go Titans and save the Chiefs, so we don't have to use them yet because they have other really juicy matchups coming up. They get the Texans after the Broncos, then they get to play Seattle, and then I believe they play the Broncos again, and then they play the Raiders. So a lot of really good opportunities here to use the Chiefs. If you don't have to use the Chiefs, I wouldn't. But I don't think the Pats Cardinals is like some slam dunk for the Pats at all. Like the Cardinals could definitely beat the Patriots, and so
Yeah. And the Bills.
that Seattle Bills is not a slam dunk. We've already seen the Jets beat them once. Not that I think it's going to happen again, but it's still not like if with 15 people left, like we're trying to get easier. But with the options you have here, because I could also I still think see Philly beat the Giants, you know, or the Giants beat the Phillies, the Eagles. Like it's possible. Interdivisional game, right? I mean, the Giants have played pretty well for the most part this year. They really haven't been blown out by most teams, even in the games they've lost. They've been close, and so that worries me a little bit. So I think the way I would play it is Titans if Trevor Lawrence sits. If he plays, I think I would go. Maybe you do just go with the Chiefs because that's you're trying to make it. You're trying to keep it going here. And I think I would assume you probably still have some other really good options because we've kind of danced around using a lot of your best picks. Now, I think that's the way I would see it because we just got to fight to live to see another day. Do you guys agree, or do you guys see it differently?
I'm going. I think I would go with Tennessee, no matter if Lawrence plays or not. I don't care. I'm going with Tennessee because I get it. The Broncos have been bad, but this is a divisional
Titans have
game.
been bad. I mean, the Titans have not looked very good lately. I mean,
they've played Philly, which is the best team in the NFL, so I can't really blame them for that. And then, sure, but this just feels like a spot where Derrick Henry just runs for 200 yards. It just feels like this is one of those games. And listen, you have to go back to
the Jags actually opened up as 1-point favorites.
I mean, listen, you have to go back to 2019, the last time the Jaguars beat the Titans. They own them.
The Titans are 6.5-point favorites now. And then you have what was the other one? The Bills are actually they actually opened as a 10-point favorite. It's dropped to 9.5, so there's a little bit of money coming on that. But that's still a pretty big spread. The Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites.
I just don't. I think it's possible we see the Broncos beat the Chiefs.
The Eagles are 5 or 7-point favorites, so they're all pretty big favorites outside of.
I still think overall, I think Tennessee's the better play here.
Are the Seahawks available still for you, Fish?
That's a good one.
I don't know. I think that's where I come in. That's my final vote. Is I would go Titans if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play. If he does play, I would just roll with the Chiefs and just take your W.
Yeah, I'll go Tennessee no matter what. Cody.
Titans only if I'm with Kev.
Okay.
Like that could be a game where Henry runs for, like you said, 200 yards, but like they could still like lose that game.
Yeah, he already used Seattle, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I guess I will say that Trevor Lawrence did say that he plans to play. So I just think I would hate to lose it off betting on the Titans. I mean, the Jaguars are definitely good enough to be able to beat the Titans.
They haven't done it in 3 years.
They've also been complete dog shit. At least they're semi-respectable.
Are they?
Yeah, most of all their losses have been one-score games. Last week wasn't against Detroit, but other than that, I mean, they all their games have been really close. I mean, same team that's beat the Ravens a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm with Kev.
So Ashton, PPR, tight end premium, start one tight end, one flex, Njoku, Garrett Wilson, Ayuk, Jacoby Myers, or Dulcich.
The tight end is Dulcich. Right? No?
Yeah, I think I probably would go Dulcich, especially play the Chiefs. You're gonna have to throw the ball a lot.
Because the thing with Dulcich is with Cortland Sutton not playing, and we saw it last week.
Yeah.
He's been used. He's been used as a wide receiver much more than.
And Kansas City does struggle against tight ends, so he saw 8 targets last week. Yeah, I think I would go Dulcich here on that spot.
This is much more like a Cal Pitts type situation where he's basically a wide receiver.
And then who are we flexing? I assume it's going to be between Garrett Wilson and Brandon Ayuk. I'm gonna go Garrett Wilson.
I agree.
I don't think it's as much of a smash matchup as it was last week that I love Garrett Wilson, but I still think Garrett Wilson's a pretty strong wide receiver too this week. Ashton DST this week. Raiders, Pats, or Cardinals? I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
Gonna go with New England.
Leading the Pats.
Aqua. Another question. Cody, no beer. Does your tummy hurt?
No, tummy does not hurt. I am living the single dad life right now, and if I have one, I'm probably going to have 15 and neglect my child. So need to wait for the wife to get home, and then I might go on a 48-hour bender. So I genuinely don't know how single parents do this all the time. If there are any single parents in the chat, kudos to you.
Yeah. It's tough. It is. It can be tough. I mean, I don't have to worry about that either, but it's tough. Anime, Gabe Davis or Adam Thielen?
Ugh.
I'm going to go Thielen here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
just against it's the Lions. Just the Lions.
That and Gabe Davis has been incredibly hard to trust this year.
He's touchdown dependent. He needs touchdowns to produce.
Yeah. Anime, is Mike Williams playing this week? It is way too early to tell. Yeah.
Who knows?
My lean is, I think, yes, because the Chargers are at a point where they have to pretty much they have to win. Like they can't keep losing these games, and or else their season's going to be once again over, and we'll have to wait again for another 5 or 6 months for the Chargers to once again be the preseason winners of the AFC West for the 5 years running that we've seen. So, Ashton, I'd go with Thielen. He's answered the question. Jonathan, I have Chase, Waddle, and Watson. Do you think Kirk for Kamara is worth a shot with the playoff schedule? I really don't want any part of Alvin Kamara. He's been so bad because the Saints have been so incredibly bad. Don't even try to hype up the Saints. Okay, they have been really bad.
Listen. This playoff schedule for Alvin Kamara is very good. It is very good, and we've seen flashes with Alvin Kamara. We've seen games where he's been.
We've seen two. I'll give him. We've seen four that he's been, but he has one elite game against the Raiders where he scored 42, and then he had one really good game against Seattle where he scored 23.4. There was 18.4 and then 17.5.
Yeah. So
every other week other than that, it is 7.6, 7.3, 9.2, 7.5, 12.9, 7, and 5.7.
Okay. So what you're saying, and what I can conclude is, Calvin Kamara produces in good matchups, right?
And it's not even him. Because he has still been, he's 11th in yards created per touch. He is 5th in yards per out run. It's not necessarily an Alvin Kamara problem. It is Saints. Their offensive line is destroyed, and it was already bad coming into the season anyways. It was never going to be good. I told you that at the start of the season, and you're like, oh my God, no way. They have a great offensive line. No, it was never going to be good offensive line. I told you the Saints team was going to be terrible. You told me I was crazy. Regardless,
I said to take the Saints under on the win total.
Yeah.
And I believe Walita's response was they're going to win the division.
Yeah. Top 5 pick.
Listen,
and I said, I think I said they're going to have a top 5.
It is not over. We still have a chance to win that division. It is not over.
Stop it.
It is not over. Listen.
Anyways, I don't think
the Bucs only have a 2-game lead.
Listen.
And they play the 49ers this week, which they might lose. That's all I'm saying. But either way, this is it with Alvin Kamara, right? It's Atlanta, who's just terrible. It's Cleveland, who's terrible. And it's Carolina, who is it's Philly.
Not Carolina.
Actually. It's Philly.
It's the Eagles. Yeah.
It's Philly. Philly has been pretty good, but Philly Philly's been much worse against the run than they have been against the pass. So this is also
true, but I do think that some of that changes a little bit with one getting Jordan Davis back. I think that was huge. He was out, and then the additions they've made to their front. Because actually, over the last 4 games, they are actually for a while they were 30th, 28th to 30th in terms of rush DVOA. They've jumped up all the way to 17th. So they've actually gotten a lot better against the run. So they're not. They did a really good job last week against Derrick Henry and shutting him down.
But the other thing with Philly is by then, which is week 17, if they clinch the first seed in the NFC, they might not even play their starters, right?
You won't. I think they're probably gonna have to play out through that. You don't want to sit your players for that long because you'd be looking at like a 3-week layoff. It's way too long to be sitting those guys. So they would definitely play that week. You maybe the last week, maybe you don't play, but you're not sitting them for week 17. That's not happening.
That's fair.
So, you say that, but then he has Atlanta is a really good matchup, but he's played Atlanta already this year and had 7.6 fantasy points, so that was awesome. But
46 total yards.
Yeah. I will agree with
won
you.
by 1 point.
He does have a really good playoff schedule.
And Mark Ingram is pretty much out for the season. Also,
he is out for the year.
He is out for the year.
Jonathan, here's the question we should have asked, so we didn't have to spend 20 minutes talking about the fucking Saints. Jonathan, who are your running backs? If you're still rocking with us, let us know who are your running backs. I'm with Kev. I probably don't want to make that, but who are your running backs? Let's start there. Let's move on. Yeet man.
It threw me off with the Steelers. I'm always used to seeing Crab Gravy with the Steelers, Avi. So I thought that's who it was, and I was like, wait, did he change his name? I was like, oh. Never mind. His is different.
It's
Crab
just Cody's
gravy,
burner.
Yeet Man, Wilson or Godwin rest of the season.
It's Godwin, but it's actually not as far off as you would think.
Yep, Godwin.
Yeah, Godwin, but it's incredibly close.
Ooh, CHB dropping the hammer on Walito.
Listen,
You got lucky.
First off, I need to make sure I make playoffs, which I need to win this week to make playoffs, and then maybe I'll see you in playoffs. But you're not beating me, buddy.
The Booty Warrior.
Let's
Don't
go.
worry, everyone. The Booty Warrior's here. It's all going to be okay. Everything will be just fine. Great name. I say it every time. Great name. I know your girlfriend doesn't like it, but she's wrong. It's a great name. Angus. Moreau or Bellinger this week at tight end? I'm going to go Foster Moreau.
So, do we have any news on Darren Waller? Because he is eligible to return this week, right?
He's not ready. He's not playing.
Okay. Okay, no,
Maybe he comes back after this week. But
yeah, no, they said no. Yeah, they said they will activate him next week, so he's not playing this week. Okay. So yeah, Moreau.
Are we all agree? Is it Foster Moreau? Is everybody? Are you guys rocking with Daniel Bellinger?
No.
I think it is Moreau, but it's close for me. But it's Moreau. Nico Collins / Mike Williams coughing, coming off an injury, or Tyler Boyd.
Mike Williams, if he plays. If he does not, I'm going Nico.
Mike Williams, if he plays. If not, I'm going Tyler Boyd.
Let's go.
I don't know why you hate.
I don't know why you hate Tyler Boyd.
Nico Collins has been pretty solid. Okay.
Okay, but
He has scored double-digit fantasy points in like 4 or 5 straight weeks.
Okay, but we're talking about the worst offense in the league. While we have Tyler Boyd, he is only wide receiver 3 on that depth chart, but in one of the best offenses in the league. And he's still seeing 4 or 5, between 5 and 7 targets every week, which is
some of that's a little hard to judge considering Jamar Chase was out.
Yeah, and he should have had a touchdown last week against the Chiefs. He had like that massive drop. Yeah, he should have had that
so
touchdown.
Bad.
Yeah,
he could have been any more wide open than he was. It literally just hit him right in his head, right in his face. And I'm like, what was that? And then MVS does pretty much the same. I mean, it wasn't in his head, but it was right in his hands, and he drops it. Just 2 really bad drops. Anyways, but yeah. Anime, Justin Fields on bye, Lamar injured. Who should I stream this week? Sean Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Daniel Jones. I'm going Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, baby.
CHB, Kyron Williams was the biggest waiver wire. Yes, he was. Everything just seemed great, right? 70% snaps the week before. Everything was looking great. And then, no, fuck you guys. We're going Cam Akers. I played a decent amount of Kyron Williams in DFS. He was 5,200. It was not good at all for Kyron Williams.
Nope. I remember you and Debro were
of Kyron Williams.
You and Debro were both so high on Kyron Williams too.
Yeah.
I remember Debro was like, "Yes, Kyron Williams."
Yep. So, anyway, Manny, need help with my my 2 RB lineup: ETN, Foreman, Knight, or White. Foreman is definitely.
Foreman and Rashad.
I agree.
I agree. Just want to point out with Foreman, just for a little context, real quick. Since week 7, he is 14th in fantasy points per game. He's 3rd in attempts and rushing yards, 7th in touchdowns. He's 8th in yards after contact per attempt and 7th in missed tackles forced. And Seattle is 24th in rush DVOA. They'll have the 7th most rushing yards, the 6th most touchdowns, and the 3rd most fantasy points to running back. So this is a really good matchup for Deonta Foreman. The only thing that would worry me would be game script if somehow they were able to get ahead really quickly. So just want to mention that with Deonta Foreman, just for people of why we like Deonta, or why we all said Deonta Foreman. That is a really good matchup.
Give Waddle and JMO, get Chase. Dynasty 10 team PPR Superflex start 10 other wide receivers. London, Wilson, Pickett, Lockett, and Bateman.
Give Waddle, J-Mo, get Chase.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I mean, Chase is what? Wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. In Dynasty right there with
2. He's not ahead of Justin Jefferson.
Said he's right there with him.
No. Jefferson is okay. I'm not gonna have this debate right now. We're not gonna do this right now.
If you're trading Jefferson for Chase or vice versa, what's the gap?
If I am trading Jefferson and acquiring Chase, I'm probably gonna ask for a pick with Chase. Probably like
a second or like they're not that far apart. Is what I'm saying.
Second or third.
Yeah. So yeah, I would do that. I mean, you're getting the higher asset. It looks like you have some depth to be able to do that. I mean, Lockett obviously a little scary. 30 years old. Wilson has shown he's good. Pickens has been good. If they can ever get a fucking quarterback in Atlanta, London has shown flashes as well. Bateman's the question mark there, but I would do that. Need a wide receiver 2 here from Chris Evans, Slayton, DJ Chark. So this is probably the other options that Chris was talking about with playing Evans earlier.
I would go Evans here.
Let's go, Kev.
JWJ or Zay?
Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson.
Blind Larry. I don't know why I made me laugh. Underdog team here. 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 flex. DPJ, Slayton, Myers, Chark. So we need 2 wide receivers out of that group.
Jacoby Myers and DPJ.
If I'm in Blind Larry, if you're saying underdog as in like you're projected to lose, I'm swinging for the fences. And I'm going to go DPJ and Chark.
Over Jacoby Myers?
Yeah, I would. I was going to say the same thing.
I think Myers is probably the safest option here, but if you're an underdog, I don't want safe. I'm just swinging for the fences. What's Myers' upside? 14 points.
Against Arizona, I think it's a little more than that.
17 points.
I mean, what's the ceiling?
Either way.
What's the ceiling with Chark?
I mean, 5 for 98 in the score.
I don't know. It's a bit much.
Okay, so listen, if he's the underdog team and he really needs to win, you have to think of this as like a GPP, right? That's the way you have to think about this. That's the only thing you can think about this. Like what players, and that's. I'm gonna go attack the highest total team here in the Lions and in a game that profiles to be an absolute shootout, and so that's where I would go Chark. and then I like DPJ with Sean Watson. I like Jacoby Myers. Obviously I'm a Jacoby Myers stan, and but the Cardinals have actually been pretty good against opposing wide receivers this year. That hasn't really been the problem. They allow the 10th fewest receiving yards to opposing wide receivers, so they're not terrible against wide receivers this year. And so I don't mind Jacoby Myers, but I think he's kind of like a floor play versus I think the other two that are much more ceiling plays. And that's really what you have to be like. I think that's the way I would go with is DJ Chark and Peoples Jones.
And then for the running back and the flex, I'm going White and Pollard.
Yep, I agree.
Boom, Yahtzee. And especially if that's an 8-team team, just give me the best assets. Give me. I don't really care about depth in an 8-team league. Ashton, don't laugh. Just trying to play spoiler. 1 RB, 1 flex, Hilliard, Homer, Moore, Hinton, and E. Moore.
Then you got to go Homer on this one.
Yes.
This is where I would get to Homer. And then at wide flex, I'm going to go with Elijah Moore.
I'm gonna go with the other Moore if he plays Rondale.
Yeah. Oh my God. Ashton always has to have the hard ones. God.
So, I mean, with Elijah Moore, we're starting to see the bump, right? I mean, last week he saw 6 targets, ran 43 routes, which is almost the most he's seen. So you have to go way back to earlier in the season when he was seeing a lot of action. Played 67% of the snaps. Once again, you have to go all the way back to really early in the season where he got to that point. So that's why I know the result wasn't there last week, only a 3.7, but I like Elijah Moore this week with all the other options that you have here.
Yeah. I'll go Elijah Moore too. Go start. I don't think you ever answered last week. Is that from Mad TV? The Avi? I need to know. Foreman, Murray, Rashad White if Walker is out.
It's Foreman for me.
Yep.
Don't worry. Great gravy is here, Kev.
Well, love to see it. Love to see crab gravy in here every week.
Enrique rocking with us once again. Garrett Wilson or D-Hop?
With a Snoop Dogg profile picture.
I'm going to go D-Hop.
I'm going to go Garrett Wilson.
D-Hop for me, but it's closer than...
Yeah, I think I'll go Garrett Wilson here. Yeah.
Closer than what it should be. Not necessarily what it should be, but it's a good question.
Well, I'm not ruled anyways, but...
I'm not going to fold like the same.
We need to have Walito on here more often just so CHB can come in here and do this.
Listen, man, we don't even have a first-round pick. Fucking Philadelphia. Oh.
Now Blind Larry's saying projected to win. Does that change anything here for you, Kev?
No.
I think I would go if you're projected to win, because I think White and Pollard are obviously especially with Pollard. Love him obviously this week going up against Houston, like Rashad White in a full full PPR as well. I think I would slide Myers in over.
As much as I love Jacoby Myers, he's just fallen off. I mean, since week 8, he has scored
has.
7.4, 9.2, 9.2, and 5.2. His targets have dropped. I mean, 6, 6, 4, and 5.
I mean,
He has been
did
dealing
have
with
a-
some injuries too.
Yeah, he
So
did have that
that's
injury.
that's been a problem for him as well. I think that was the Minnesota game that he
Thanksgiving.
yeah. So just tougher to trust with him. The ceiling hasn't been there. Like earlier in the year, he was balling. And then really past the Jets, where he scored 21, he's just kind of fallen off.
Looks like we need one here for Justin Sanders, Pacheco, Pierce, or Rashad White.
Miles Sanders.
I agree.
George Cook. Never thought I'd say this, but should I be playing Slayton over Mike Evans or Damian Pierce this week?
No. I'll go Damian Pierce here.
No, I think he played the other two above him. I mean,
Yeah.
Mike Evans for sure. It's not even a question. But like the Damian Pierce thing, it's just, man, it's frustrating with him. And, if they fall behind, like if they get boat raced like we saw them do a couple weeks ago, like he could be completely game scripted out, which is.
Yeah, but
But
Mike Evans for sure. But I think you play Pierce over Slayton though.
that's what I'm saying. I would, but it worries me with Damian Pierce. It's
Yeah.
I'm just hoping he finds the end zone. Right?
Thought so. ET. What's up, fellas? Even though we're missing out on the playoffs, just want to say it's been awesome rocking with y'all for another season. I'll be back next year. TFA fam for life.
And also, ET, don't go anywhere. We're gonna do the we just talked about. We're gonna do the fantasy playoff challenge, so you can jump in on that, so you can keep your fantasy, alive. I can't remember what was that. What was the commercial? Remember for the fantasy playoffs, there used to be a commercial the NFL did. I can't remember what it was. For the NFL playoff challenge. But anyways, we're gonna be doing the NFL playoff challenge. So don't go anywhere. If you're in Discord, keep an eye on Discord. If you're not, jump into the Discord. This would be a good time to drop it in the chat. To join the Discord, absolutely free, and you can play. Okay, so your fantasy season doesn't have to be over, and we'll have a little bit of prizes, a little bit of stuff like that. It's absolutely free, no strings attached whatsoever. And you can go in there and you can talk shit to Walito. That's always that's the main selling point for a lot of people.
That's all that's happening on the Discord.
So appreciate you, ET. Season doesn't have to be over. We got more. We're bringing some more fantasy to you. Gary V. Flex. Garrett Wilson or versus Buffalo or Godwin versus 49ers.
Godwin.
I agree. What is this?
I was reading this one.
Twitch in here. Ashton, Walito, you ain't making the playoffs in TFA Listener League. Sorry, bud, but you're losing this week. James Cook is my RB2. I know you're scared.
Ashton, you're going down, buddy. You're going down.
Yep. See? And that's another perk of being in the Discord. You get into the Listener League, the season-long Listener League that they're all in. So
I just want Robbie and Tom to both miss playoffs.
Well, could happen. And then Ashton, I'm still salty about not getting the A-Rob jersey for a couple years back.
All right, what was an A-Rob jersey, right? Chicago jersey.
A-Rob. I We did 3 that year. I think it was A-Rob, Keenan
Was it Keenan
Allen,
Allen? Yeah, A-Rob, Keenan
and
Allen,
Miles Sanders, I think.
Yeah, Miles
Yep,
Sanders. Yeah.
yep.
3 signed jerseys. That was fun. So again,
Yeah.
so I think that is the rest of the questions. We appreciate everybody rocking with us. Once again, we're week 14. We're trying to claw our way into the fantasy playoffs, or maybe you already have a bye and you're just chilling this week. This is not a time to get relaxed. If you are already in the playoffs, you have nothing to worry about. It's a really good time to start setting up your matchups for the playoffs. You know, whether you have a bye, whether you week 15, whatever. Not get complacent. So yeah, keep it locked in here. We will be live again tomorrow night if you're in a DFS. Me and Maddie for the DFS DJ Nation. We'll be live again tomorrow night for that show, and then we'll be back again on Sunday for the Start Sit show to get you guys locked in there for another week. So appreciate all the support, really do. We say it all the time. We have the best community out there, and we appreciate everybody and all the support we've had all year. TN and all everybody that shows up to every single one. Walito, we even appreciate you for everything, for joining us, jumping in here, and keeping the entertainment alive. That's about the only thing that you bring, because the fantasy takes are something. I couldn't help it. Sorry, Walito. Anyways, enjoy your weekend, everybody. We will see you guys back here again tomorrow night, or at least I will. If not, we'll see you on Sunday. Have a good weekend. We'll see you soon. Bye.